welcome back to Turntable Guy. This is part 2 of the Marantz 6200 overhaul. It's kind of funny because in between working on this Marantz, I have worked on a Yamaha YP77. And that video will come out, I don't know if I'm going to put it out in between this one. I'm not sure yet. Depends on how much time I have to do some editing. But as soon as I pulled the bottom cover off this turntable, I immediately got like a flashback, because this mechanism for the auto return is almost 100% identical to the Yamaha. It's just a couple of the gearings and switches are in different positions, but all this is exactly the same. And you're going to see in this Yamaha that I have a lot of problems getting the auto return to work because of the, I guess you can call it a Steuer pimple, because that's what it really is. This main cam arm here, I have some major issues with that. And where this is the tone arm, just attached right to the tone arm. Where this is here, there are some issues as to where it sits and where the arm comes in. I was ready to throw that turntable out the window. I did get it going eventually. Like I said, hopefully, I'm not sure which video will come out first, but if that one comes out first, you'll just see that. And if this one comes out first, then you'll have knowledge of what's going on in that one. But yeah, they are almost identical. So I'm just, I kind of find it funny that you're probably going to pay 3 times as much for this turntable because it has a Marantz nameplate on it. Whereas the Yamaha is pretty much identical, except for the motor. This one definitely has a better quality motor on it. But other than that, it's the same bloody table. So I wanted to show you one thing, which is, let's get my electric screwdriver here, which still has not been charged. And underneath this plate, you seeing that okay? Yeah, maybe I'm going to zoom out just a little bit here. It's in the front corner here. There's a little wood plate. It's a support for the base. So each corner has one, except these ones are all glued in place, and this one is just screwed in place. And what you have to do is just slide it out like that, and that reveals your 4533 micro switch and your 2 pots for speed control. Now I've already hit these with some Neutral contact cleaner, and I've let it soak because they would not budge. I mean, I sprayed it in there and they still wouldn't budge. So it sat for a couple days, and now they have freed up. Like, I've been working them a little bit, so they freed up. So what you want to do is get your contact cleaner, whatever you got, and just give it a shot behind here, there and there, or in the little crevice here. And that's how you clean your pitch controls on this Marantz. And now they're swinging freely, which is great. So they were totally seized. I don't know if there's a lubricant in them from the factory or what causes them to stick like that. I'm certainly not going to open them. But boy, that's the most frozen solid I've ever worked on. So you just want to put these 2 screws back on. Okay, and we're going to work on the main spindle bearing. Now this is identical to that Yamaha. It's an inverted bearing, so I'll show you what that means. It means that the bearing doesn't sit in a vat of oil or grease or whatever. It's inverted. So if you put any kind of real, not very viscous oil, it's just going to leak out the bottom. I'm not sure why they do that, but we're going to have to use a grease on this one. So what you want to do is 3 screws here. 1, 2, 3. And you might as well remove these 2 as well, because this plate keeps the bearing from popping out the top, the spindle. So we'll just take those off as well. And the table is supported on 2 2x4s right now, because I don't have a dust cover for this. So that's why it's a little wobbly. And you just want to pull this straight out. There's a little bit of glue there. Oh, there's also, that's different too. That was not on the, oh, that is, okay, so this is different. The Yamaha did not have this little thing here. This is what keeps the bearing from popping out on this one. That's too bad that it popped out. It probably should stay down like that. Okay, so that's a little different. So on the Yamaha, this plate has a little, I don't know what it is. It's just a little, it juts out a little bit here, and it just keeps this from popping out. So anyway, so this is an inverted, is this an inverted bearing? Yeah, this is inverted. So instead of the spindle coming out and there being a vat of oil, that's the actual spindle here, and the pit, or the vat of oil, is the actual spindle. So I'm not sure about this design or why they do that, to be honest with you. That is a pressure relief hole, and when you put the grease in, if you put too much, this is where it ends up popping out right here. So see how that opened up? So you just want to clean that out like that. So this is not my favorite kind of bearing. I mean, it does feel semi-smooth, and I'm sure it's machined very well. But like I said, if you put oil here, so we dress this with oil, this is how it sits when it's playing. What's going to happen? All the oil is going to spill out, right? So we need something much more viscous. I'm going to use a synthetic grease for this one, but we're going to clean it first. Let me zoom in a little bit now. Oops, other way. There. Okay, I'm going to be using this Permatex multi-purpose synthetic grease. It's light enough that I use it on the Yamaha as well. I'm getting good lubrication, and it's not too sticky, so it's not going to cause any speed issues. But in the meantime, we have to clean this just like any other bearing. So you want some alcohol and a rag. Just soak your rag a little bit. And you can see on this, on that spindle there's a little indentation for the ball bearing. That's for the ball. There's a ball bearing right in the bottom of this. And I can't get it out, so I'm just going to leave it alone. Give it a cleaning. So just clean this off. You guys know the drill. That's what's on there. There's no lubricant left. Even though it's a grease, it's all finished. So there's just a tiny, tiny, tiny little indent there. Now, I don't know if it's flat from the factory and the years and years of playing records makes a little mark there, or if it's actually a little dimple they put in there from the factory. I have no clue, but that's where the ball bearing will ride. So that's clean. And now you want a Q-tip. And we're going to clean that with alcohol. Let's get in here and give that a good wipe. There's very little left. Like I mentioned, there's a little pressure relief hole here. Because I think without this, you're never going to get this this down. The hydraulic pressure will just keep it, especially grease, right? The thicker the fluid, the harder it is to press it down. So let's dry that up. Okay. All right, so what you want to do is get your grease. And just get a little screwdriver here. So get a blob of grease. Not that much. Something like that. And just do this. Okay, just put it in on the end. And then, I know this is completely unnecessary, but I'm just going to put a little bit down here. And once you put these two pieces together, that will spread it around. All right, so just turn it a little bit. I'm already feeling the pressure. And there's that little hole. Let's see if anything pops out. There it is. See it? See it coming out? Oh, shot all over my finger. Still coming out. See what I mean? That's what that pressure relief valve's for. Just takes the excess, shoots it out so you can actually get the bearing down. And there we go. I think that's all there is. Oh, still got a little bit here and there. So I didn't really need to put it down there. It doesn't even come down to that point. So live and learn. All right. So that's it. Lubricated. Okay. You don't see me use grease very often. I'm an oil guy. I like to use oil. So that goes back on like that. I don't even think we need to take this off on the Marantz. So there are some differences between the Marantz and the Yamaha. They're very few, but they are definitely there. It's kind of fascinating. I don't know if it's specifically ordered by the manufacturer, or if it has something to do with just different model years and different design. I would probably say the latter. Although in the case of the motor, they probably order different motors for different models. Okay, so this little thing here, which is not glued down anymore, hopefully it still holds the arm in place, or the spindle in place when we bolt it down. It's not the end of the world if it does come up. You can always seat it back down. Three screws. Okay. Now, another thing that I noticed that you're going to see in the Yamaha video is underneath the main cam arm, there is dried up grease on that Yamaha. So I am going to, sir, can you see that good? Yeah, you can. So I'm not going to move. So I'm going to check it on this one because it does affect how the auto return works. So you want to remove this screw and spring. It was really bad in the Yamaha. It actually locked the table. The grease was so bad. And this one, you can see there's bad grease as well. I mean, it's just on the spring, but what the grease that we're looking for here, you just want to turn this cam just a little bit like that and then lift this off. Yeah, it is bad. It's definitely bad here as well. You want to pull this out and you need to clean this. And you need to re-grease it. So just get a paper towel or Q-tip or whatever you got and get that grease out of there. Especially on the plate here. It's bad news. It is like glue. I'm gonna get a Q-tip. You can use WD-40 as well. Are you seeing that? Okay. Right here. That's where we're working. Actually, I think I will use some WD-40 because it just seems to melt it. So let's sit for a second here and I'll take care of it. And you need to clean the bottom of this arm as well. So, a little bit of alcohol on this one. So that is very important. Just get it off. Wherever you see this, it is glue. And it's funny, it's the only place in the turntable that has this kind of grease. All the other joints have a lighter, almost like a white lithium on it, so that hasn't frozen. Okay, so yeah, a little bit of a ring of grease here. There it is. That off. And now let's work on this post. There we go. Melt away, you bastard. It's horrible stuff. undoubtedly a mineral-based grease. But I mean, how long can you expect grease to last, right? Not 40 or 50 years. Okay. So get some more of your synth grease here. Grab that and just down here. Nice and lubricated. That'll work itself around. And you want to put this back on. Just get it somewhere in the cam here. It doesn't matter where it is right now. Okay. Now the spring is kind of gooey, but it doesn't really attach to anything, so just give it a wipe with a little bit of alcohol. It's just holding this arm down. It's not doing anything. And a washer and a screw. And just button that down. And that's that. Uh-oh, what is this? Anybody see where that came from? Well, that's interesting. I'm going to have to check that out. Was it there? I think it may have been there. Nope. I don't think so. I'm going to have to go back and check the video. I'm pretty sure, no, it does not go there. So, I'm not sure where this washer goes. I have to check that out. I don't know if I did that or if it was there. It may have been there, but I won't know until I check the video. So, I'll be right back. All right, I did find it. Went back and played the video. It was on the underside of this screw, so it was sitting on top of that plastic post for the main cam gear. So I just lifted this up a little bit, put it back, and we're good to go. I think that's about it for under here. I just put a little drop of oil on some of these moving parts here, just a drop, just to make sure it's going to work nicely. I don't want to touch anything else at this point. Let's flip it back over and see how we're running. The owner did drop off a brand new belt, and if you are interested in knowing what kind of belt it is, this is it here. It's an FRX 25.0. So it says 25-inch IC, CS 0.210, wall 0.30. And that all has to do with the thickness of the belt and how much rotational speed you get, right? Because there's if you don't have speed adjustments, that's another difference between this one and the Yamaha. There's no speed adjustment on the Yamaha. This one does have pitch controls, which makes it superior when you have it, especially when you have an AC motor. It's so nice to have pitch controls. So, and obviously a strobe. So, okay, so we're gonna pull this off. We're just gonna move our blocks. And we're just going to put our base in for now. We're not going to screw it down. Flip it over. There. Now, actually, I want to show you one thing. I did clean the main pulley for the motor. I used a Scotch-Brite pad and a little bit of cleaner, and it turned out fantastic. So that's all good. All right. Let us see how we're spinning. Belt feels good. Power. And put it on manual. It's going to do something here. Oh, it's going to auto return. Looks like it's spinning nicely. Oh, the belt has slipped up a little bit. That's normal. Sometimes it'll jump up on you. Just put it back down. And then you can push it down a little bit with your fingers on the side of the platter. And try that again. Let's put our queuing up. And it's spinning up again. Try that one more time. There we go. Okay, it's seated correctly now. Okay, how's our speed? We're at 33 right now, and our top as bright as this light goes. There it is. I think we need some adjustment here. Let's try 45. 45, 60 hertz is the bottom. Okay, 45 is, no, we're not getting good good travel here at all. I'm cranked all the way over and it's slow and it just gets slower. So we're slow on both here. Here's our 33. Barely. I'm cranked over on both to get correct speed. That's not good. You want to be in the middle of these two pitch controls, right? So let's just see how far the motion is on these. It's usually a nice sweep right out there. So I'm going to put that in the middle. I'm going to put this in the middle, roughly. So right about there. And we're going to get underneath. I'm going to put it back up on some, on those wood blocks. I'm going to get underneath and I'm going to adjust the two fine trim speed pots on the actual motor board. So let me set that up and I'll be right back. Okay, we're set up on some blocks here. This is the best view I can get. I'm sorry, because I'm off the edge of the, the bench here. So we're going to adjust these pots here underneath the turntable. There's two right on the motor board. We're going to adjust for speed. I'm going to do 45 first. Okay, we're adjusting 45. Okay, that is stable there. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's the inner ring on this little strobe disc. Let me see if I got a bigger one here. Here, let's try this one. See if that makes it better for you. So see the inner ring's 45, the outer is 33. Okay. So we're nice and stable on 45. Okay, 33, as you can see, is very, very slow. So let's bump that up. You hit the other pot now. And yeah, right there, I'm going to say. Happy with that. I'm just looking at the strobe light as well while I'm doing this. Good. Now we have stable speed. Let's check auto return. Very nice. All right. Our dirty 6200 is starting to come alive. So let's just recap. We have cleaned the table. We have done a full motor service. We have serviced the bearing. It's holding good speed, so I'll tell the customer that. I have asked him if he wanted to change the capacitors on the motor board, and he asked me just to test them first, see if it's holding speed. If not, change them. So I don't have authorization to go ahead and do that. So I will not be doing that. And unless he really wants to do it, if it was mine, yes, I would definitely change them, but this is not my table. And from what I understand, he plans on just turning this for profit, because these, like I mentioned, these tables do get quite a bit of money on the used market. So that's where we're at. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to end it here. I'm going to show you one thing though before I end it. He has dropped off a couple cartridges here. He did not want to buy a new one. He says he has a couple older ones to install. We got a Audio Technica AT, I think this is, what is this, a 10? AT10. It's got a bit of a pooch needle on it. Probably won't use that one. We'll be probably using this. This is a Shure M75 6. Not great either, but like I mentioned, he just wants it, making noise, basically. So that's what we're going to do for him. We're just going to get it going, but I don't know whether I want to stop this or not, or if we want to have the satisfaction of hearing it playing. Okay, why don't we do that? Let me get this cartridge installed, and I'll come right back. So at least we can do a sound test. Okay, got the cartridge mounted. I'm not loving it. It's it needs a new needle, but it'll work fine. Hopefully it sounds okay. So we're all set to go here. I have adjusted the lead in a little bit. There's a screw right here. And you turn it until you get your arm where you want it to drop. This one's got a little bit of a wiggle, and that's the same thing I'm having with that Yamaha YP77. Obviously, it's a fault of the design. But anyway, let's see what happens. A little wiggle at the end here, watch. Right there. It's okay, it's dropping in the groove okay, so. Can't play that for very long. Let's try the reject. This cueing, I need to put a little bit more silicone oil in there. I have a video on a Yamaha YP211, and I go over the replacement of the cueing fluid for that, and it's pretty much identical to this table, so check that one out. If it hasn't been out yet, it will come out soon. There's a reject. That's working well. Let's just check our auto return. That's always hard to check because sometimes you rush the arm and it wants to come back on you. I'm just going to do this manually. Okay, that's working good too. All right, let's wrap this one up. That's it for the Marantz 6200. Much better than when it came in here. It's working, it's running. I'm sure the owner's going to be happy to flip this one. He's going to make a pretty penny on it. I think he paid $50 for it. So, I'm sure you can sell this for a lot of money. I've cleaned it up. I'm not going to go much further because he hasn't given me instruction to do that. I said I need to clean it to work on it. But I am not doing like a polish on this or anything like that. He can do that on his own. And other than the replacing a little bit of that silicone fluid, I'm going to call this one done and gone. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in again. Be sure to check out these new Yamaha turntable videos I have coming out. They're going to explain some of the issues also with this one. And again, it's going to go over the cueing fluid replacement. Take care. Have a great day, and we'll catch you in the next video.